All right, I'll count us down. Five, four, three, two, one. Well, here we are, the third week in the new year already, and man, there's a lot going on. And I guess we'll just talk about.
Yeah, what up? Yeah, what up? Cause this is my United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.
Welcome to the latest edition of Whatever with Don and Justin. I am your fearless leader, Don Allen, and this is my good friend and co-host, Justin. Hello.
Hello.
Justin, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? What is that you're playing?
It is called Metal Gear Doms, and it's from Beyond Good and Evil.
Oh,
And the reason I'm playing it is because the first thing we'll get into tonight is a continuation of the last podcast we did, sort of. It's getting to things late because the PC doesn't get them until much later than the consoles. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is the release on Steam of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Oh yeah.
Platinum Games' first PC port, and has some issues, and it has some things that could use improving, and I don't know. There's a lot of good things about it too, though. So I guess I'll say that I'm not a huge fan of the Metal Gear series. I played Metal Gear Solid back when it released on PlayStation, and
Metal Gear.
it was. I hadn't played the NES games or anything, so I just went into it fresh in '97 when it came out, and that game honestly was like fucking mind blowing at the time. I loved it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really liked the first Metal Gear Solid. I played through it multiple times. I really enjoyed the story, and the graphics were great at the time, and the Psycho Mantis thing was that was crazy.
Brilliant.
Plug it into the second port, and you beat him, and it's like, what? And you remember the code Meryl gives you to dial is like on the back of the CD case.
Yeah.
Just things like that.
The part that tripped me out the worst was that I was a huge Castlevania fan since Super Nintendo, or actually Nintendo era actually, and I had a saved file of Symphony of the Night on my memory card. So
Oh,
Mantis
yeah.
is like, "You like Castlevania, don't you?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "So what?"
That's good stuff. I remember that shit. But yeah. So basically, though, since then, I didn't own a PS2 until like late in its life. I was an Xbox guy. I was a GameCube guy, and for whatever reason, I just didn't have a PS. All my friends had PS2, so I just went to the houses and played that. But I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 2. I still haven't played it, honestly. I own it. I've owned it for years. I just never have gone through it. I'll probably go through it if you can play it on PCSX2, the emulator on PC. I'll probably go through it there. But so I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 2. I tried 3. By the time I actually got around to 3, I don't know. Like the gameplay didn't appeal to me anymore. Like the stealth and stuff like that. I didn't like it. So for whatever reason, I just haven't liked the Metal Gear Solid series.
I hate
So, I know. So going into Metal Gear Rising, this was the first game in the Metal Gear series that I was actually looking forward to because Platinum Games makes some of my
They're
favorite
awesome.
games personally. Yeah, so like I like Bayonetta a lot, and I'm not really into like the old Devil May Cry games either, So,
Mhm.
but Bayonetta like really struck a chord with me, and I played all the way through it, and that doesn't happen often anymore. So,
What about did you play Vanquish?
yes, I have Vanquish on PS3, and I've played it a
So do
couple
I.
times. It's really good. I like Vanquish, but that's I attribute that more to Shinji Mikami's direction than just being a
Gotcha.
platinum game. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
What about? Did you play Wonderful 101 yet?
No, I've just played the demo. The demo is so like just throws you into the middle of everything, and they don't explain much, so you have to
Yeah.
kind of figure out a lot on your own in that game.
Did this button do what it? Oh God, I'm dead.
And that's kind of how Rising is too. Rising, like they
Yes.
have a lot of tutorials, and well, not a lot of tutorials, but they have like help screen, and they show you like all the combos, and they show you all the moves with every weapon, and there's a lot that you just kind of have to know.
Yeah,
You have to
it doesn't
figure
hold
out.
your hand.
No, not at all. And for some people that can be kind of frustrating, I think, because you don't really know how to do everything unless someone tells you. A lot of times.
Welcome to the Nintendo era.
Well, one of the things I would recommend to people if they go into Rising, just so you know, Metal Gear Rising is an action. It's a character action game, not unlike Ninja Gaiden. I think it's a lot like Ninja Gaiden. But what you do is just like Bayonetta or whatever. It has a really in-depth combo system, and there's a video that someone from Something Awful put together. It's like 16 minutes long, but it literally explains how to parry. It explains how to dodge. It explains the like just buying moves and equipping them, and it teaches you all the basics. And I watched this video, and it like really got me into the combat even more because I didn't know you could do a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
But once you learn the intricacies of the combat, then you start like you'll go through the first, like I went through the first chapter, and I think I got like a C or something. And then, and by the way, the game's like what, like 5 hours long or something?
It's like 5 or 6, yeah.
Okay, I still haven't beaten it. I still haven't beaten it, and here's why. I went through the first chapter, and I got like a C ranking, okay? And it was, you have to be ass at this game to get a C. So, I went through. I wasn't happy with that. So I watched this video. I went and I played through the first chapter again. And then I think I still got a C. And I was like, why? I know so much more now than I did. And I don't know why I got a C again. So I went through again. And I finally got a B ranking. And then they're like,
So what did you do different?
well, that was a good question. What I did different was you start learning how to like aim and blade mode and things like that.
Yes.
Like instead of just like that's one of the things the video teaches you is there's this focus mode in the game for those who haven't played it, and you hold the left trigger and it goes into slow mo, and basically the whole game revolves around slicing things into pieces, and you can slice your enemies into like a million pieces if you want to, but you actually get the best results if you do like a couple of slices and there's this little target and you aim for the target, and whenever you see a crosshair pop up you slash in that place, and then their spine falls out and you grab their spine. They're cyborgs, so it's like a mechanical spine. Yeah. And you grab the mechanical spine and you crush it and it kills them, and then it refills your health and it refills your focus meter. And that's called a Zandatsu. And that's like the whole crux of the game, is how many Zandatsus you can get, like in one fight or whatever. But you get ranked based on each battle, so like you get to see your progression as you keep on improving, and it's really, really satisfying to see that.
Now, see what I find great about games like this and games that do like a scoring system or something of this nature is that you can go back and play these levels and try to beat your scores or get a higher score, and yet at the same time you can be casual and just fucking slice shit up, and regardless it feels good either way.
Yep, it is true. You can just go through, and one of the things too, I figured out because of this video that I watched. He explains you can go to another control method. Instead of slashing everything with the right stick, you can actually aim the focus mode with the left stick instead.
Yes.
And instead of just like letting go of the stick. See, at first I was like wildly flicking the stick everywhere. I was worried that my stick was going to wear out because I was like flicking it everywhere. Like
that's what
like,
she said.
Right. And and uh, you can actually just aim it and then mash X on the controller if you have an Xbox controller, or square on PlayStation, and then he slices wherever you're aiming. So you don't actually have to like flick the stick around. You just kind of just mash X if you want to, which is kind of cool. But that's how I play. It's a lot easier for me like that. But it's nice to let you switch it up.
Yeah,
But
and I like too that like you have to kind of take the time to learn the system. I mean,
oh
you know,
yeah,
I mean,
I
I
do
don't.
too.
I mean, some games hold your hand too much. Some games just it's like way too much, and it's like I just want to play it. And this game kind of throws you in, and then it's like, yeah, if you want to get you want to become a master at it, you have to kind of learn, the intricacies a bit more on your own. And it's funny because actually they also do this in Wonderful 101. There's two moves, like there's a dodge move and there's like I think it's a block move, and you don't actually unlock those from the start. But those should be like your first things you buy. But you
Yep,
wouldn't know that if you're not paying attention.
yep, exactly.
So
Yeah,
Platinum Games doesn't fuck around, basically.
no, and that's the thing is that their games they're fun to pick up and play, but they're difficult to master. So like,
Yes.
but once you do get to master it, or I'm not even like saying that I mastered it or anything, but like I've improved significantly from the first level, and that's what I was saying at the beginning. Is like the reason I haven't beaten it yet is that I keep finding myself running through each chapter like multiple times, and
Mhm.
you memorize where everything is, and you memorize like the bosses patterns and things like that, and then you just like find yourself improving each time you play, and then
Yeah.
that feedback, that instantaneous feedback, is just like super satisfying, and you
Yeah.
get to
I
see
mean,
how much you've improved based on like a letter grade. And the S rankings are bullshit, by the way. You have to like take no damage in the boss fight to get like an S ranking on it. It's such bullshit, but yeah,
it's one of those
people.
games for me that actually comes off just being like, while it might not be the prettiest game out there, the fact that it's such a smooth gameplay experience. The combat is fun. The cutting up is just so satisfying. It's just all these things come together along with its rockin' soundtrack that just to me makes it one of the standout titles of last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's now some of the issues that I was mentioning on the PC version are like I mentioned, it's Platinum Games' first ever PC port, which is great, honestly, because now they have experience with the platform, and hopefully in the future all of their games will come to Steam.
Yeah, it'd be
Um,
good.
the weird thing is that for whatever reason, they decided to limit the resolutions to like a super limited number of choices. So you have like 800 by 600 up to 1080, 1920 by 1080, and in between you have like certain steps, but they're still missing some basic resolutions like 1600 by 900, which a lot of monitors are, which is kind of weird. But what I noticed is if you run it at any higher of a resolution than 1080, the game actually still renders in 1080 and it just upscales to that resolution. So it looks kind of blurry and crappy. But what's funny is that there's also a problem that for whatever reason, if I start the game full screen in 1080p, it actually
Mhm.
runs the game at 1080i, and I'm not
Hmm.
sure why. It just runs it at 30 hertz refresh rate, and I wish they'd fix that, because the only way I can run it full screen 1080p is by running at 1440p, and then since the game actually just renders it and then upscales it to 1440, my TV downscales it back to 1080, so it's actually like just running at 1080 the whole time.
Oh my gosh,
It's
you
so
just blew my
weird.
mind.
Yeah, so it goes from 1080, upscales it to 1440, then my TV scales it back to 1080. So it's basically just 1080, 1440, 1080. So it's like it doesn't actually do anything at all. It's
It's
just
going to the discotheque, a back
it's
and forth.
it's being rendered like, it's being scaled twice to get back to the same resolution it started at, which is really stupid, but whatever, it works, I guess. It looks okay. It doesn't look amazing or anything. The textures are awful in some
Yeah. Well,
places. They're really bad.
I mean, you got to
Um,
realize that, like you
oh
said,
no, I
first
yeah
off,
I do.
it was first off, it was well, first for people that don't know, obviously it was designed for consoles, but
Right,
the key factor was that it was designed for consoles to run at 60 frames per second, and to
exactly,
do that, folks, it requires a lot of sacrifice.
exactly.
So Just like
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno, 60 frames
Right.
per second doesn't look the hottest, but hey, they got the good frame rate going, so that's what their focus was, and that's why when you take the console version and put it to PC, you can only do so much with it.
Right. Yeah. The frame rate on the PC version though, man, I'm running like 8x. They did. I have to note they did include like multi-sampling anti-aliasing, which is nice. Because it just like cleans everything up and it looks really really solid, you know. But I hate saying Metal Gear looks solid, but anyway, um, whenever
Like my
I mean,
crap.
yeah, so it looks nice for what it is, but like I found a one of the inspector profiles for it's called screen space ambient occlusion. It's just like shadowing around walls, you know, like around corners and things like that.
Yeah.
And it actually adds a lot to the picture, I think. But I found one of the working profiles is the profile for the game Demigod, if anyone wants to use it and they have an NVIDIA card. But anyway, so you can do that kind of stuff and clean up the image even more. But even when I do that at 8x MSAA, the game still like holds a 60 frame per second rate, like with everything going on. And on PCU too, they give you the option to like up the number of things you can cut into pieces and stuff, and the length of time that they'll stay on the screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even through all of that, like it's still 60 FPS all the time, so it's nice.
And you can cut shit up. I was
Yeah.
testing that out.
Yep, you sure can. It's a lot of fun too. So,
I just imagine like a grandmother. Hey Billy, can you cut up my Thanksgiving turkey? Of course, Grandma.
of course,
Yeah.
non-stop. So that's Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. If you haven't played it and you're not a huge Metal Gear fan, I would definitely recommend playing it.
Yeah, still play it.
Because you don't have to be a Metal Gear fan and enjoy the game. And by the way, the story is completely ridiculous and over
yeah.
the top, and the cutscenes are hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
and the stuff that you do in the game, especially like in the first chapter when you're like cutting that giant Metal Gear in half,
Oh yeah.
and
You just-
crazy
You just-
stuff. Yeah.
You wait, sir. You haven't seen the end parts yet.
Oh
You just
yeah, I've
wait.
heard. So. And
So,
oh
thumbs
yeah,
up
yeah.
For the whatever crew.
One of the other things I wanted to mention really quick.
Oh, we're not done.
No, I wanted to mention this before the podcast, but I wanted to save it. What we're hearing right now, the lyrics. I love how the lyrics don't kick in until the final phase of a boss.
Yep.
So that's when you know you're about to beat the boss. Is the lyrics kick in? You hear the singing, you hear this shit. You know, and it's like, oh shit, here we go, and it's just like ramps up to like the finale of the boss battle.
I'm not gonna lie. I bought the soundtrack when it came
Yeah.
out, and I rock it in my car every couple days or so. It's seriously like the forces of nature. Yeah, you know, it's just too good, man.
It's really
It's
cheesy too.
It is, but it works. I don't know how or why, but it works. And they even get the minute detail of having the only female artist that sings during the only female boss battle.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Mistral is
Yep.
that her name?
which was an awesome fight. If
It's like a dead or alive fight. You just go from like level to level, just like getting knocked through pipes and shit, and it's like, what the hell? Yeah. So the boss battles are crazy too. So anyway, check it out if you haven't. All right. So the second thing we want to talk about tonight is, and I'll leave this more to you, Justin, because you followed it more than I did. The whole thing with the new Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 game coming out.
yeah.
Apparently, there's a scene in the game where Dracula, it goes into like it's a cutscene, I think, right?
Yeah,
And-
well, I don't know. There's been some debate. It's either a cutscene or it's an interactive
Well,
sequence.
it goes into first person view, and basically it's Dracula like feeding on a family, like a man and his wife and his daughter, I guess. And this isn't like available to watch, right? This hasn't been released.
No, not yet. Supposedly,
Right. So
there's
it's only
rumor
been
that
shown
it'll-
off to the press, and one of the writers that actually saw this really like took offense to it, and she got the impression that Dracula was like he rapes a little girl, is what it is. Which
Yeah.
to me, just hearing the description of it from several other outlets, it just sounds to me like Dracula's a vampire and is attacking a girl like you see on. And here's the thing, like Dracula's always been kind of sexualized. You know what I mean? Like there's always been like this kind of
Yeah.
yeah, there's always been this kind of like erotic kind of side to vampiric stories and things like that. So like I guess I don't know if it's in her mind that like she's kind of seeing something that's not there, or if she's just insinuating things because she wanted clicks, or maybe she was actually seriously disturbed by this. And I don't know. Like, but
Well,
she's the only person that I've seen that actually interpreted it that way. But
my thoughts on this, and I covered it in the video on my YouTube channel. But the thing is
go check it out, by the way.
yeah, you should, guys, totally. Slash JPC, not a shameless self promotion. What
It's
you
your
see
podcast.
is that what you see is that I don't have a problem with any journalist or gaming journalist, player, person having an opinion or being offended by something, because it's our right to have an opinion. We're human, and if we think something offends us, I mean, you could tell me to shut up, and I'd be like, Don, that offends me, and I have every right to say that. But the issues I felt that were with that is the fact that they referenced a terrible thing called rape-lay.
Yeah.
To it. That's one. And then the fact that they even referenced rape, the word rape at all with the sequence.
Yeah.
That's a very negative image. So as soon as you if I say Don Allen and rape, that like immediately if I put that in like in a news broadcast, like say CNN launched a headline with Don Allen, rape, blah blah, there's immediate negative connection right there.
Yeah, it's sensationalism.
Immediate negative backlash. Yeah, it is.
Sensationalism is what it is, and that's what I'm saying. Like you use that type of language when you're fishing for clicks, is what it is. When you're looking to get the attention of someone, you immediately, shout the nastiest thing that you can think of, and that honestly is like the nastiest thing she could probably have thought of.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I don't want to downplay the fact that she may have actually genuinely been offended by this, and like it just, I don't know, like it. Yeah, when you allude to something like rape-lay, and for those who don't know what rape-lay is, let me explain it. It's a hentai game that's released in Japan, and in the game you play as a guy that basically rapes a family, a mom and two daughters, and that's the goal of the game, is to, I think you're supposed to impregnate, or you're supposed to like not impregnate the daughter, because if you do, you die or something. Like it's the sickest, most disgusting fucking thing you can think of. Now I will recommend, if you guys are, if you have a warped sense of humor like me and Justin, go to Something Awful, and they have reviews of hentai games that were written. These are like 10 years old now, but they are fucking hilarious if you can read them. But yeah, like Rapeplay is one of the games that the guy reviewed over there. But and that's how I knew about it. I've known about this for a long time. But the woman said the image of Dracula reaching out toward the little girl, because it's in first person, reminded him of the cover of the game Rapeplay. And you can go to Wikipedia, the Rapeplay page on Wikipedia, and you can see the actual cover itself. It's a mom and I guess it's a mom and a daughter. They look like, they look the same age because it's anime. But anyway, it's a mom and a daughter like holding each other, like, like in like they're kind of cowering fear.
Yeah.
And you see this hand like reaching out toward them. It's the hand of the rapist, and it's like that's what she's alluding to whenever she talks about this. And immediately, like when you allude to something like Rapeplay, which is like completely, denounced by any gamer that's worth his salt, you know what I mean? Like, that's sensationalism, and that's absolutely like dredging up the worst possible example, the most extreme example that you can think of, and comparing it to something, and it immediately makes it look like you are not to be taken seriously.
Well,
in my eyes.
I mean, it wasn't even that, but it was the fact that she was saying that the way her article was worded was that that almost like the David Cox, the
Yeah.
creator, that almost like that he was agreeing with that's what he was going for, but in reality, what he was saying is that he wanted people to be shocked by the scene to showcase that yeah, you're playing as this person that isn't exactly a nice person. You are Dracula, you are a monster, and it doesn't matter. And the fact is that in scene, he supposedly kills the father, then bites the mother, and then goes towards the kid, and it fades to black. But
Right.
see, there's discrepancies because other people have chimed in from the press that were like, that's not what I saw. I thought I thought I saw him feed on the father too." So there's kind of a little bit of a misconception of what actually happened. So I mean, we need to see it. But regardless, even if he didn't bite the father, if you're thinking about Dracula, and I mean it's a fictional character, but obviously he's going to take out who the protector is. Whether it's
Yeah,
biting,
that's a good point.
yeah, whether it's biting or killing, he's going to take the protector out because that's the person that could do him harm. So he's going to take that person out in some fashion and then go after the blood, which is what he wants. So the fact is that okay, so that's that fact. The other thing that always chaps my ass about things like this is they make such a big deal about that scenario, like because of what he's doing to the woman. They don't care about the actual act of murdering a man beforehand. like murder's okay in video games, guys, but if you
Rape
go
is
to
horrible.
bite the neck of a woman as a vampire, oh, it's sexist. And I don't think certain things in video games need to exist that are like, for example, the God of War sex mini games. I think those are pointless. They didn't
They
really
are
need to
pretty
be in
pointless.
there. They don't serve a purpose. It's like they're just being trivial. But I mean, I get the point of this, that it's to show that he's a monster, he's a bad guy, and it's not rape. There's no rape in it. It's Dracula being Dracula. If you were to showcase this in another way, you'd pretty much be changing
Yeah.
what vampires are, aka Twilight.
Right. I don't think they were going for a rape angle with this thing,
No,
Like
not at all.
I think they were just trying to show that Dracula's ruthless and he goes after kids just like he does adults. But
Yes.
at the same time, um I don't know. Like I saw somebody compare it to the No Russian level in Modern Warfare 2, where it's just like, it's just there to be controversial and to start conversation. And
Hmm.
I don't know. That's possible, but I just think like they had a vision and they want to express how nasty the character is that you're playing as, and I want to make you
I
uneasy
mean,
in the process.
not only that, but I don't know if you've seen some of the screenshots. He pretty much looks like an old man, and he's weak. So what does he
Yeah,
need to
that's
do?
true.
He needs to eat people.
Right.
He needs to drink the blood. I mean, that's not something they're pulling out of their ass. It's something that's been in vampire lore since Bram Stoker.
That's true too.
It's
Like
not.
I don't know. Like they do have like a real specific reason why he's doing this too. That's what you're saying. It's like, he's not just doing it because he just wants to be mean or something. Like in the
Well,
game,
and-
like it's out of context, the way that she presents it in her article, because it's just like she focuses on that one scene, but leading up to that scene, yeah, you start the game out and he's like super weak,
Yeah.
and he needs.
Well, not only that, but this is something that you can do in the game. If you weaken enemies, at least from what the demo showed, is you can weaken soldiers and enemies that you're fighting, and you suck their blood. And not only do you suck it, once you start sucking them and you're done, you literally like tear them apart. They explode in a mess of blood and gore, and they're just obliterated.
Realistically.
Huh?
Realistically.
Oh yeah, it's for sure. but I mean, it'd be different if this was just some game about some dude and they just threw this scene in there. I'd even get why you'd find that a little bit more like, oh, this is just for shock value. But it's Dracula. Yeah, I guess the shock value for her was putting it in your hands and putting it in first person. Like she brought up, well, why does it have to go into first person mode? But I think that's what David was trying to say is
That's
he
pretty
wanted you to
obvious. It's supposed to be uneasy.
he wanted it to feel, terrible, and according to most press people, it did. It felt really bad. Like people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm not a hero. I'm a bad guy." So, yeah, it's just it's just ridiculous, I think, and most of the people I've talked to feel the same way. They're kind of like, I don't understand the big deal, and it was interesting because somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody from Polygon was in the Twitter feed when this was going on,
Hmm.
and they were trying to say, that this is, that this has been, somebody was saying, well, vampires have always been known for this. And they retorted back, well, no, since Bram Stoker it has been this way, but before that, vampires in lore and stuff were known to eat like feet or arms. It was kind of all kind of, there wasn't really a solid justification of just blood or whatever. And until Bram Stoker, and I was just thinking though, I'm like, but what does that matter? Bram Stoker's story came out how many years ago, and
Yeah.
it's everything that we've known about vampires. So what does it matter what's even past that or beforehand?
Well,
Because
maybe the Polygon guy is an actual vampire and is several hundred years old, and to him, Bram Stoker's just like a flash in the pan. But like before that, it was way different. Now he's
Well,
just
but you know what I'm
set.
saying? It's like you're gonna bring up something that's even further past Bram Stoker, which is already really freaking old. But Bram Stoker is what set the foundation for vampire stories and lore since,
Right.
and that's all we've known.
Yeah.
Growing up in our timeline. So I mean,
Yeah, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna go back in like 300 years and base a story on something that won't sell. I mean, that's the whole point. You want to sell a game, you need to, make it about something people know, and people know Bram Stoker's Dracula. They don't know whatever came before. They don't know
yeah,
Dracul, Vlad the Impaler, or whatever.
yeah.
So I mean, the other thing I wanted to say was, if I can remember what I was gonna say. I'm trying to think here.
You can
Um,
do it.
yeah, I know. Well, it was the one oh right. The one thing that really bothered me about and I feel bad. I should know her name. Hold on. I feel like I should know the woman who complains name, because that's just respectful, and you know, even though she probably doesn't deserve respect after that Rapley comment, which was ridiculous. Um, but the thing that bothered me about her argument was the fact that she said she hopes it's censored
Oh yeah.
in the final release, and I'm like, I don't agree with censorship, like in pretty much any case, unless you're in China. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. Like, it's just ridiculous to hope that something will be censored. It's like, I never understood that mindset. Like, why would you, just because you're offended by it, hope that no one else gets to see it? Like, who are
Yeah.
you to speak for everyone else whenever you? I don't know. It's just
Well, it's like the topic of on Facebook. I had posted that there was a comic panel. I don't know if you saw it. It said the evolution of gaming journalism, and
yeah,
like the first picture. Have you seen it?
yeah. I saw it.
Yeah. So I posted that, and then people started talking about sexism and getting on this other topic, and all I could say, because they were kind of going back and forth, is, I said, I'll tell you right here, I said directors, game designers, authors. They all have visions, and people shouldn't have the right to change that vision just because I said so. You hurt my feelings, and that's wrong. I was like, just like everyone else, they have a choice, and they have a choice to put in the content and focus they want, and you, the consumer, have a choice whether you want to buy it or not. Speak with your wallet, not as a gaming journalist or on an internet forum or random tweet. And I believe that. Like, just because if I have an artistic vision, no matter what, if I'm sure somewhere out there, no matter what I make, it could be the most PG thing. It's probably going to offend somebody.
Probably. People like
In
to
this
go.
day and
They
age,
like
it's
to
going
be
to do
offended
it.
now.
But but I mean, it's just it's I don't get why everybody always has to clamor for, oh, like especially it happens in gaming all the time, like like with Mass Effect and the Mass Effect 3 ending situation. And what I don't understand is you don't see review critics of books or movies writing the directors or the authors saying you need to remove this chapter of your book, or
No.
you need to remove this paragraph, or you need to blah blah blah. It doesn't happen because it shouldn't happen.
Right. It doesn't happen too because, I guess, because books have been around for much longer, and the target audience of gaming is, I guess, it's still considered to be like, a juvenile thing, where it's targeted mostly at kids, and they're I guess she's concerned that kids are going to see this, and it's a valid concern, I guess, but I just don't, like Dave Cox said, it's not going to be censored. This is an adult game for adults.
Yes.
And like that's the thing. Like it's time gaming now like makes a distinction that there are some games that kids just don't need to play, you know, and there are some issues in some games that kids just don't need to see, and it's like that's what the rating system's for, and it needs to be taken seriously by parents and by everybody because gaming, you know, I was playing well going back to like Metal Gear Solid, like the first one, okay, back in like the day, you would never hear like an F word in a game. You know what I mean? Like even the very first Grand Theft Auto. I remember there's a cutscene toward the beginning of the game, and they bleep the F word. Can you imagine a Grand Theft Auto game bleeping the F word now? No, no way. I just remember like the first time I ever played San Andreas. Like I was fucking floored. Like it was so obscene, and I was like, wow, like that was blew me away. It was, you know, the most F bombs I'd ever heard in any medium ever. Like because it's such a long game. But now it's just like, you know, the rating system is just used to its fullest extent, and things are way different than they were even 15 years ago now. Like, and so parents need to get on the ball and actually pay attention to what their kids are playing now more than ever because gaming is like super ultra violent now, you know, with like much more realistic graphics than ever, and it's not upon the game makers to watch out what your kids are seeing. It's up to the parents to see what their kids are seeing or not, and it's like, you know, you have to pay attention. It's just something else you have to pay attention to. And
that could get us going on a whole nother topic of bad parenting, which plenty of people obviously are, because you hear 5-year-olds playing Call of Duty online.
You will not be a bad parent. I know you won't.
No, I will not be. My daughter will not be playing. She'll be playing Mario and Rayman and those types of games. She will not touch Call of Duty till she's of teenage years.
There you go. Yeah. So, and to give her credit for her article at least, her name's Kat Bailey, the woman that was complaining about Lords of Shadow 2, and she worked for US Gamer or Us Gamer. I don't know. Is it US Gamer?
Yes, US Gamer.
I think it's like Eurogamer's US side or something. Which honestly, until this article happened, I didn't even know existed. So
I didn't either.
Mission accomplished, I guess. So just to give her credit, and like the subtitle of her, or the excerpt or whatever of her article says how one scene may end up unintentionally defining a game by trivializing sexual assault for the sake of easy shock value. Okay, yeah, it trivializes sexual assault when it's not even supposed to be an implied sexual assault, in my opinion. But hey, you know, whatever. And remember, this happened a couple of years ago too with Tomb Raider, the whole thing. It was like, ugh. He almost gropes her, and then she shoots him in the face. So, but yeah, people will always overreact to things.
Oh, for sure. Just like the Tomb Raider situation.
Yeah, exactly like that. And I just don't like people that think something needs to be censored because they don't like it. And I don't like if you cry, like if you allude to something like rape-lay immediately, like right off the bat, I'm not going to pay attention to you. It's basically just like comparing somebody to Hitler or something. You know, it's just, it lets me know that you're just trying to get attention practically. So
yeah, I agree, and it's just not, it's uncalled for. Again, she can have that, and again, she can truly feel the way she feels, but the fact that she is a journalist and she gets many eyes on her articles, I think it was a disservice to match those two together.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just,
if I was Konami, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, that's really damaging to your brand if it's just compared to, you know, the most infamous, disgusting game probably ever made. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but that's that whole thing. I think we touched on it nicely.
Yeah, we did. It was good. It's good.
All right. So what else did we say we were going to talk about? There was something else.
Was there something else?
Yeah, there was. There was one other thing.
Oh,
another game. Yep, that's it. Snap along. Snap along with Don Allen.
Snap along.
Snap
Shut your
along.
mouth. We'll sing this
No,
song.
I can't
I
remember.
don't know. What the hell were we
Damn
gonna
it!
talk
What
about?
was it? This is bad.
I know. No, it's whatever. It goes on
Yeah,
for
it is
whatever.
whatever. That's a good point.
Was it anything? Was it a new game? Was it a
Game.
was it a new game that's out already or not
Yeah,
out? Or
already out, I think, or coming out. I don't remember.
Oh, what the hell were we gonna talk about? This is
I don't remember.
killing me.
We mentioned something, and we were like, yeah, we would talk about that. That's a good third topic. We could talk about that.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. What
Really?
Yeah, sure.
Did we honestly have a third topic?
We picked it right before we fucking started the podcast, but I can't remember what it was. Oh well.
Because we were like Metal Gear.
I am reading this this thread on Gaff, and it's called "I Want a Sonic Generations 2," and I agree. I agree wholeheartedly
I agree too.
because I don't want another spin-off with his shitty friends, and I want another. I wish they would do another side-scrolling game like the classic Sonic bits of that game. I think it was fun.
I haven't played it all, but I'm on the side of enjoying the Lost Worlds game that came out. It's just different.
It's not bad.
And,
I played a
yeah,
little
it's not
bit
bad.
of it.
Yeah, it really isn't that bad. I mean, I think it's better than some of the other 3D games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where we were going with that topic. That one's over. Bam.
I saw a video. It was the last Angry Video Game Nerd wish list or whatever that he made right before Christmas. Anyway, he included footage of him playing Shadow the Hedgehog, and that game is ass. Just saying. He didn't hate it as much as other people did, but I was like, man, I remember playing that shit, and that game was fucking awful. I couldn't stand it. Whatever. Fuck those 3D Sonics. Sonic Adventures are bad too. I don't like those either.
I liked the first two. I liked Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and then I couldn't play much of those. I think
I like the Sonic levels, but like the treasure hunt shit with like Knuckles and stuff. Oh my god, that was like mind-numbingly dull. I couldn't stand any of that stuff.
I actually enjoyed Unleashed. That one's kind of a love-hate, it seems, and I enjoyed that one. I just got stuck in it and never got back to it. But
do you have Generations on PC by chance?
No, I don't.
You should pick it up. There's a mod for it that you can play all of the Sonic daytime levels from Unleashed on PC using the Generations engine. Yeah, it's awesome. It has like global illumination and stuff from Generations on, and it's like the levels in their entirety. And they had what was the mechanic? Like rockets or something? I can't remember what it was, but they made it work in Generations with like the mechanics that were available. Oh, the Werehog stuff. They play as like classic Sonic instead. It's really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, they did a whole like rework of it. It's really, really well done. But that's that for that. So anybody wants to play that, go check it out. I think it was at Sonic. I can't remember what the name site was. What is it? What is that fan site? There's a Sonic fan site, and it's like super huge, all kinds of stuff. Sonic Retro. That's it. SonicRetro.org. Go there and check it out if you have Generations on PC.
You know, I'm really irritated. We can't remember that third topic.
it's
just really eating at me. I'm like sitting here like beating myself up. Like what the?
Yeah, I mean we had kind of like chosen it just in case we couldn't fill enough time, but I think we filled enough time. I think we're good. We're almost 45 minutes now, so.
Oh, damn! That went by quick.
I know. Yeah, that's how it works with Don and Alan.
Don and Alan. I guess whenever.
Third time in a row.
Alien Isolation.
Oh right, yeah, that's right.
Suck on it.
Nice catch.
Ah.
So Alien Isolation, we wanted to mention it because Justin and I are two of the only people in existence that actually completed Aliens Colonial Marines. Colonial Marines. I'm sorry. And we didn't completely hate it. I thought it was ass, but I didn't think it was like completely serrated ass. Like it was just unfinished and sloppy. And the auto aim absolutely ruined the game. But
broken promises.
Yeah. Now I will say one of the things I was going to say to you before we podcasted, and I said, "Oh, I'll save it for the podcast," like I did earlier. I I was going to talk about the one scene that I really liked in it that I thought they nailed the atmosphere was the part with the blind aliens where you like can't shoot your gun. You remember that? You have to like
Yes.
wander
Oh
through
no,
the
I do.
yeah, you
The
have to,
one
like,
that had the they had the animated GIF that everyone was making fun of because they didn't know the
yeah,
context of the
exactly.
situation.
Yeah. If you've ever seen that gif of like an alien just like retardedly kind of like like skimping by, it's blind. It can't see anything. Now the animation's questionable. It looks dumb as hell,
Yeah.
but still, I mean that's why it doesn't attack it. People were using it as like an example of crappy AI or something, but it's blind and it's listening for you and you can't make noise. So you have to sit still. It's actually kind of tense,
Yeah, it
the part
is.
of the game. So
That was one of the better parts.
yeah, I like that part. But and then it's like shooting the rifle, the pulse rifle, and all that stuff is
Yeah.
cool. But
To get the aliens feeling like that, they nailed the atmosphere because I mean it had the soundtrack, it had it had the visual
yeah,
style at least, and it had the sound effects. So I mean it's kind of hard
right
to not throw yourself into of
now,
reliving the aliens movies when you're playing.
retconning Hicks's death was fucking inexcusable. But
And that got approved by them.
I know I couldn't believe it. But so anyway, now we're not saying Aliens Colonial Marines really worth playing, but
No.
if you do play it, I think I got it for like $3, so it's worth that.
Yeah.
But Alien Isolation, they're going like back to the drawing board basically with this one. It's another first person game, and people are like, "Oh my god, why?" But
Oh yeah, I
it's
can't trust them.
yeah, well, it's done by Creative Assembly, right? Who do
Yes.
what do they do?
They did the
Total
Total
War.
Warrior,
That's right. Yeah.
and they've done Spartan Warrior or something, and they did the Vikings of Asgard on
Right.
So yeah, they've done a few games, but not anything like this.
Right, and they are taking inspiration from Amnesia as
Yes.
like an actual survival horror where you don't have any weapons and you just run basically. And instead of millions of aliens, there's just one, just like the original movie. So, and Alien 3 if you consider that canon. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of going back to basics, which is nice. And
Yeah.
we'll see how it works. You play as
I-
Ellen Ripley's daughter in this one.
Yeah. This is
And-
between 1 and 2.
Right. So this is like after Ellen Ripley like disappears after the first movie, and she's like floating in cryo sleep out in the middle of space for like 70 years or whatever. Her daughter, I don't know the story, but you're playing as her daughter and you're trying to survive against one alien.
What happened is they said she's always wondered what happened to her mother. They find the black box from the Nostromo,
Oh, okay.
and
That's cool.
basically they're like, do you want to go to the station to see what like investigate, and then I guess that's when shit goes down. Now I did hear, or I've heard rumbling that there is weapons, but it's not going to be a focus. Like there'll be parts where you're shooting at maybe the alien, or there might be parts where you're shooting other people. But
Okay.
yeah, I hear that's not the focus of it. It's definitely a hide and run, and supposedly the AI is supposed to be pretty adaptive. So it's not supposed to be entirely scripted from what they're describing.
Mhm.
So that it's not always oh, I know exactly what's going to happen, because then it would definitely be a kind of a one through and done game.
Right.
But I think this is a good move. I also think this is a bold move. I think it's bold because AAA games, or at least games with this much development time, well, they usually don't do horror games because, especially of this nature, because it's a genre that's just dying out. Even though there's a lot of fans that want stuff like this, it just seems like no company wants to put that much money behind something like this.
It's a result of the problem. I think it's a problem anyway, where companies expect to sell 5 million copies or it's a failure.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like, I think it's good because I think Sega knows there's no chance this is going to sell 5 million copies. But at the same time, it looks nice, but I don't think it's going to be like, super high budget. So I think if they sell like a couple million, it'll easily make back its budget and probably turn a profit.
The fact that it's on this gen's or last gen systems and next gens,
Right.
obviously that it's not built for next gen, so there's going to be there's going to be some downgrading, so to speak, because of that. But I think it's good because they're going to be able to appeal to everybody, other than Wii U. Sorry, but they're going to appeal to everybody.
Poor Wii U.
Basically, I know it's a shame. They're going to appeal to everybody. But the other reason I think it's bold is that they basically came out and said we are not doing any multiplayer. This is a single player only game, and no co-op either. That takes balls because, I mean, even Dead Space, which was one of the latest games that was horror to be successful, was like, we're gonna throw in a co-op mode,
Yeah.
like, and same with Resident Evil, and it's like everybody's going for these multiplayer and multiplayer and co-op games, and Alien Isolation is basically like, fuck you, we're going back to old school style and eat a
Well,
dick. We're
That
one player only.
and they would have to rename it Alien Cooperation, which
Yeah,
they couldn't really do. It wouldn't get the same. It wouldn't get the same.
I was way off.
So, but what I was gonna say was, it's actually, I think it's a shame it's not coming to Wii U personally. It's funny because people joke that the Wii U got the definitive version of Aliens Colonial Marines.
Because it never came out.
Yeah, because it never came out. And I think it's a shame though because like the tracker, the motion tracker would be perfect on the fucking gamepad
I agree.
screen. And anyone that has a Wii U and has played Zombie U knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say it's excellent for survival horror games.
That game's a terrifying game.
It's a really, really good game too. Like so, but I don't think it's all that different from what they're trying to do with Alien Isolation. I'm talking about Zombie U.
Yeah.
So I just think like it's already been done on this system, and it's I don't know that it could run on the system, but I haven't, I could take a guess. If it'll run on the PS3 and 360,
Yeah.
it would probably run on the Wii U. It probably wouldn't run on the Wii U very well because every game has like forced VSync, and apparently that drops the frame rate. But you don't have any screen
Unless you're
sharing, which
Nintendo.
is nice. Right? But still, like I do think it's a shame it's not coming to the Wii U, just because I'd like to play it with a damn gamepad. But
Yeah, I agree, and it's good that you mentioned Zombie because I think that's a game that was criminally underrated and not played. And
Yep.
I'm not kidding you. That's one of the scariest games I played, especially later on.
it's intense, incredibly intense.
I actually feared regular enemies, much like kind of like Dark Souls. I really, like these are games you really fear, and like one zombie, okay, two zombies, I'm a little nervous. Three, I don't want to be there. So I really don't, and I can't. I didn't want to talk about the what was it? The little baby care or the child care place.
Oh yeah,
Terrifying.
yep. Just like Dead Space 2. Speaking of Dead Space, remember that? Remember the daycare place? Whatever,
Oh, I do.
School.
But that one wasn't
was
as scary
creepy.
because you got all your guns and shit. You're like, yeah, I'm a badass.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
true.
gonna kill all the babies.
They did like completely change Isaac from 1 to 2, which is kind of weird, but
Yeah, they
it
keep
is
him
what it
character.
is.
I
Yeah,
still also think Dead Space 3 got too much hate as well. I still thought that was a good game.
Dead Space 3 it's fair. I really like the in space stuff, like the abandoned colony or whatever it is. I really like that part of the game. The planet stuff I don't know. It was alright. I don't hate it. I just thought it could have been better. So anyway, I think that's about that's about all I need for tonight. I think we're done. So what'd you learn tonight, Justin?
I learned that we both appreciate the Wii U more than most others do, and we both would like to play Alien on there. But
The
we're
Wii U's
not,
a
but
goddamn fun system, damn it. I'm sad to
is.
see it doing as badly as it is.
dude,
it's
it's bad
funny.
when it's bad when Knack is selling more than Mario.
That's true. Yeah, that's. I don't know if it's sad or not. I haven't played Knack, but
Well,
I'm
I
guessing
have, and
it's
I
sad.
liked it too, but still.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say too, like, just as a testament, like it's a little anecdotal story, but over the holidays, my younger brother who works at GameStop brought over the Super Mario 3D World, and you can play it with the Wii remotes, and I have a couple of Pro controllers and the gamepad. Anyway, my roommate, his girlfriend, my brother, and I were all like sitting there just playing Super Mario 3D World for like a couple hours, just nonstop. So it was, and these are people that don't, like, my roommate has like a PS3. He's not really into Nintendo stuff, but yeah, the Wii is really fun for like local co-op stuff. all that stuff. Anyway, that's just a little rant I went on. I hate
What did you
rants.
learn then?
I learned not to take people seriously that throw out things like Rapley or Hitler, because they're basically on equal levels whenever you're talking gaming. It's just like, oh yeah, well, that guy is as bad as Hitler. Well, that game's as bad as Rapley. Well, thanks for letting me know not to listen to your opinion, you crazy person. But I hope that the game isn't censored, and I hope that she doesn't get her wish. And she will. We can't let them win. Alright, so appreciate you guys listening. As always, follow me on Twitter at It's Don Allen. Justin has 2 names that you could follow. And yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Thanks, guys. It's been fun.
It has been. Take care. Take care of yourselves and each other.